Hey, RJB here for RJB TV, and this is actually replay number 2 that I'm casting for today because the previous replay turned out to be corrupted, so this is a completely different series from a completely different time frame with completely different players than I was intending to cast. I was intending to cast Mitchell and 458 as a continuation of the previous videos, which I had a lot of trouble with uploading because YouTube kept messing them up. To which the solution turned out to be very simple, changing from MKV to MP4. Nonetheless, that's all in the past. Now we have to focus on the now. And the now has Trisha here against Leebokgu. Leebokgu playing the Zergur on the bottom of the map. Alright, he was doing something. Alright, he was doing something else. So we've got Trisha here on the Protoss, blue Protoss. Leebokgu here on the gray? Pale blue? Pale blue is a pale blue Protoss. So both players are on the blue colors, but Leebokgu is basically more gray than Trisha is. He starts off with a choke there in the front. And it looks like Trisha is starting off with a Nexus first. He doesn't want to be the person to aggress within the first couple of minutes. He wants to scale up and then go for very hard-hitting tactics and strategies and build orders. And because both players picked their races, this is not that uncommon. It's pretty safe to go for the +1 Nexus into 3 gateways. He might be going for 2 first. Most of the times they go for 3 instead. There's a pool there in the front, hatchery number 2 coming out as well. Though it's technically number 3, I call it number 2. Because this one is the main. So 3 hatcheries now in total. Overlord number 2 spawns. I really like this map. It's green, it's from the Toki Clan League season number 2. Sadly there was no season number 3, but nonetheless. It's a great map, it's a nice change of pace, it's green, it's beautiful. Although it's a little bit hard to play on it yourself because people don't want to join this map. They want to join the one with checkers on it, with squares. They don't really join maps that don't. So Trisha was trying to stop Leebokgu from getting the creep colony up with his probe, but eventually he does get a creep colony up and running. It was all completely fine. He's got 6 Zerglings out there as well. Do some scouting, potentially some defending in the case his opponent was going for a rush. But he didn't go for a rush, although this is still pretty early with those zealots. But it's not a rush, because the rush would be 2 gateways first, maybe 4 gateways, and then sticking to attacking, not having gone for a +1 Nexus. So, pro player running around. Hatchery number 3 there, or you could call it number 4. Sunken number 2. Zealot's being balled up here in the front, and he's got a Cyber Core not yet started. He does have a probe defending against the Zergling, but the Zergling there staying alive as it runs away from the cannon. Great little attention to detail there from Leebokgu. It does go down now. 2 more zealots spawn. No Cyber Core still. No Cyber Core still. And yeah, both players are simply just scaling up. Bit by bit. Tiny bit by tiny bit. Very, very slowly. Waiting for that Overlord to finish. Whereas Trisha is looking to build himself a Reaver proxy here on the middle because there's a pylon coming down, there's 4 zealots to defend it, and there's not really any units here for Leebokgu that can move out and kill it. Maybe he can micro his way around those zealots and kill the probe, but I think that Trisha in response will micro the zealots and the probe to keep the probe alive and get those cannons and robo facilities down here on the middle. Cyber Core close to finishing. It's a little bit triggering that it's been misplaced. As you can see, it's been misplaced by a tiny bit. Honestly, very triggering to people with OCD, but I don't mind. My bases are always different, never the same. Gas coming out for Leebokgu. He knows about, well, he roughly knows the timing of Trisha's buildings because he scouted everything, so he knows how much time he can take and give himself before he needs hydralisks and defensive measures to defend against Trisha's attacks. So as we can see, he's simply adding on more hatcheries and going for pretty late gas there. So almost already At about 4:40, he started mining gas. He's already on about enough gas for 2 dens, but I think he's going to go for 1 den after his lair. He's going to save 50. There is the Hydralisk den. So lair den. He might want to switch into lurkers very soon. I don't know. But he's most definitely going for Hydralisks, because Hydralisks are the staple method of defending within the Korean fastest scene. Not necessarily Sunkens, although the Sunkens of course are useful. Their main tool is Hydralisks. So Temple's Archive coming in. Citadel of Doom is finished. Support Bay also has finished and is now researching graphitic boosters, which is of course faster shuttle movement. And he's got lag enhancements on the way as well, which leads me to believe he's gonna go for a combination attack of Reavers with Zealots. But first he's gonna try to shuttle about 8 Zealots that he has here into Leebokgu's base, who doesn't really have any defensive units yet, but he's got a lot of Hydralisks just within seconds of finishing. And he's added on 2 more hatcheries there as well, so he has a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hatcheries for macro. He's pretty far ahead of the curve because he took himself some liberties with going for a very late Hydralisk spawn timer. All the Hydralisks are now out. Zealots are simply Zealots are going for the Hydralisks, and they're getting somewhat of a surround, but great Hydralisk micro coming out there from Leebokgu, keeping his Hydralisk mostly alive, although of course he'll lose some of them, or he's not going to lose any of them. The Zealots there have been sacrificed, have bought Trisha a little bit of time, but he didn't really achieve all that much. Also, there's vision here on the side with those overlords that Leebokgu is now setting out. He's trying to deny vision here on the side with that Corsair, but in fact he needs to deny vision on this side because this is the side where Trisha is going to come in from. But the Corsair is luring those Hydralisks away, and as he sees those Hydralisks, he's going to start moving with this shuttle and try to go in from the bottom. There he goes. Hydralisks there on the top, which he knows. Shuttle coming in from the bottom, and there's very little here to defend, although Leebokgu can see the shuttle with the overlords, and he might just arrive in time to snipe it down. He starts unloading. Reaver on the low ground. Reaver gets a shot off, but it will not connect with any of the drones that are in the back. It doesn't connect with anything for that matter. And Leebokgu, well, stays alive, keeps all his drones alive. 54 of them in total at 7:35 into the game. He's got, I think, about 24 Hydralisks to defend himself with. He's got a Spire on the way for Scorches, maybe even for Mulalisks. So he is pretty much completely fine in hitting the point in the game where, because none of the abuse or none of the attacks employed by Trisha have yielded results, he might be scaling into infinity very soon. But do mind, Protoss stays stronger than the Zerg throughout pretty much every single stage of the game, at least at this level of play. It's going to be very, very difficult for Leebokgu to get the upper hand over his opponent here, because his opponent is building about 11, that's in fact 11 gateways there on the middle. It starts building cannons as well, drops coming in from 3 different directions. One of them arrives on the scene, Storm's coming out there, Storm hits a couple of them, but the second Storm does not hit anything. But there's another Storm there coming in, and this Storm might just hit the jackpot. No! It in fact only storms about 4 drones, and it storms itself. So Templar drop there, not getting many results, but it was a beautiful setup there. 3 different shuttles, 3 storms. Pretty hard to defend as a Zerg, because you have to pretty much be on target with every single group of Hydralisks as you split them up to 3 different locations. Drop coming in here through the front, but I think Leebokgu will just snipe this one. No! Is flying it? Ooh, that was very, very, very close. The shuttle made it through about here, was about to unload a Templar, and then might have gotten a storm up on the drones and killed some drones, but the drones, they're staying alive because 70 of them remaining. And yeah, the Scorches, as I mentioned earlier, are being used to snipe shuttles. So this is going to make it harder for Trisha, and this is going to turn Trisha's method of offense and attack into a rather one-dimensional one. Namely, he's going to have to try to force his way through the front here and pray to God that his shuttle drops will go unnoticed. Because if his shuttle drops get noticed by Leebokgu, they're definitely gonna go down. But the push here in the front is getting some results. He cleared up his entire front portion there. Pulls back his Dragoons after killing the hatchery to rely on the Reavers killing the Sunkens. And another big massive unit here finishing up on the middle. 71 probes against 60 drones, because Leebokgu had to pull some of his drones to the front to build these sunken colonies there. Got a couple of lurkers finished up as well to place them in between the sunkens. There's no observer out yet for Trisha. He does have an observer tribunal, I think. No, he does not have an observer tribunal, so those lurkers are definitely going to change the game. But he's now going for the attack. He's going for the attack. Lurkers have burrowed up between the Hylists. The Hylists are killing the Reavers, and the Reavers are now being pushed back, but Leebokgu decides against committing to the frontal attack here into that middle, because of course Reavers are spawning here next to the cannons, but there's only 3 cannons there. But this is a lot of Dragoons with level 1 weapon. Alright, 2 dropships, 2 shuttles coming in, one gets sniped, the other one is trying to fly around, it gets sniped as well. He's trying to split them up, make it harder for Leebokgu to defend against them, but Leebokgu finds his way through unscathed. He hasn't really lost any drones yet, aside from I think 1 or 2 storms, hitting about 4 or 5 in total, so he's been completely fine. He's even got Hive on the way now. And he's on 130 or 140 supply, mostly Hydralisks, mostly drones. So he's got himself set up for success, or so I hope to believe. Trisha is being a little bit slower here because he has to wait for that Observer Tribunal to finish, which he still does not have. He might have it on what he has on the middle here. So he has an observer on the way somewhere here. Maybe he hasn't finished already. Nope, I don't see it yet. He doesn't have it in the queue either. He needs to... Yeah, by not going for the observer yet, he's giving his opponent a lot of time to get upgrades, to get more Sunkens, more hatcheries, and even more lurkers here up in the front, more Hydralisks, to progress his tech, get everything that he needs to set himself up for a future victory. But of course, still has to fight through all these units here on the middle. So I don't want to call it too early, but things are looking pretty good for Leebokgu. If I were Leebokgu in this situation, I would be feeling rather comfortable. I'd be feeling rather comfortable here. Although now attack coming in from Trisha, because he knows that he now has the observer, he can try to go for it, and he walks right into the fight there with his Dragoons and his Templars. A lot of Dragoons there coming in, a lot of Dragoons are also being stuck, another drop there being sent out to the top side, but it's empty. Another shuttle there in the back, but that's not empty, just a Templar and a Dragoon in there. He doesn't really get much results here, kills a lot of Hylists there, but loses a lot of Dragoons at the same time. Drop comes in here over the frontal portion of Leebokgu's base. Leebokgu, of course, will not have no problems defending against this, although Templar unloads. Templar does not storm. It was very close to storming there, but it died before the storm animation finished, so no storm, no drones lost for Leebokgu, and Leebokgu is just going to keep getting bigger, stronger, beefier, and harder to kill for Trisha, who now must be feeling the pressure of his opponent pretty much having been completely untouched. Or, well, he hasn't been untouched, but every single attempt at damaging Leebokgu has not succeeded. 2 Scorches are taking care of the shuttle on the top. 2 Scorches maybe taking care of the shuttle here on the side. Maybe he's going to do it with his Mutalisks. Push happening here in the front at the same time as well. Shuttle goes down to the Mutalisks. And Dragoons running into the fight. I think he forgot to get Dragoon range. I think you've got to get Dragoon range because the range on the Dragoons is very, very small. Smaller than it should be, so that definitely leads me to believe you forgot to get Dragoon range. So we might be seeing Dragoon range upgrade coming in very, very soon. Great Storms are coming down on those Hydralisks though. But yeah, we're gonna have to wait for Dragoon range, because those Dragoons are definitely not upgraded. Definitely don't have the Cybercore upgrade Singularity Charge, although Leebokgu now moving into the middle and he's winning the fight on the middle, although I think that's mostly thanks to the fact that Trisha does not have Singularity Charge upgrade finished for his Dragoons. He's queuing up Dragoons and the Master on the middle though. He's got Templars there to defend as well. Templars are very strong against Hylists, specifically in this narrow corridor. It can take you like 10 or maybe 20 minutes before you can even break through just fighting against Templars. So though great and Tangle that are coming down on the shuttle, but the shuttle's going to make it all the way to the location, but the Templars that were being unloaded also immediately died because there's simply too many Mutalisks and Hylists there on the ground. to kill the Templars before they can storm. So yeah, nothing is working for Trisha. I've seen him pull off some amazing Protoss vs Zerg builds and plays and games, but nothing seems to be working here. And I honestly think that's because his Dragoons don't have Singularity Charge. And he hasn't noticed yet. Sometimes it just goes unnoticed. You try to keep on playing, you keep doing the right things, but it just doesn't work. Another 2 shuttles there going down to the Scorches. I thought only one was going to go down, but both of them go down instead. Reavers are finishing up, Reavers going for the push. This is quite frustrating because Trisha has everything that he needs to make this work, except Singularity Charge. And maybe he does. It just looks like he doesn't. You look at the Dragoons, they're walking awfully deep in. Well, that's mostly just them tripping out, I guess. Although when they do walk into attack, they attack from very close. Very, very close. Very, very close. So he's got another load of upgrades on the way for level 3 weapon, level 2 armor and shields, whereas Leebokgu is currently on level 1 carapace for his air, 1 armor for his ground, and 1 attack for his ground. So he's been doing pretty well with his own upgrades, pretty much mirroring what Trisha is doing, although he has 97 drones there, so that's a lot of minerals coming in for him, although I think he's going to build more of a static defense all around his base and get more tech. The Fiber Mount coming in, 2 spires, 3 Evo chambers, he's got all the stuff he needs. Drop there, tries to fly in, but it's gonna get shut down before it gets in, because there's still vision on the sides that Trisha did not clear out with his Dragoons or his Corsairs. A little bit of an oversight that is really important, but it can be difficult to pull off if you're not one of those players who's constantly aware of what he's doing. Or well, of what he should be doing, aside from the things that he's already doing. Because Trisha has been trying really hard here on the middle to get through, but Leebokgu has seemingly defended without much issue. Singularity Charge, I miss you. Goes in once again with the Storm Drop, but this time it's a Reaver drop, and the Reaver arrives on the scene, gets a shot off on... Well, he gets a shot off on drones that he didn't... that make no difference, really. And now these drones are running away to safety, and they stay alive, and the Reaver drop there doesn't succeed. Killed the wrong pile of drones. The real drones were already brought to safety there. This is a lot of spores that are coming out there on the top side. I soon believe spores are going to be coming down here on the bottom side as well. But first, a frontal attack here happening. Dragoons once again walking up too close to the Sunkens because of their lack of Singularity Charge. And yeah, this is honestly a frustrating game to watch. Because Trisha is a good player. We've seen him do some really great stuff in the past. I also sent a really great replay of him to Falcon Paladin to cast. It should be coming out very soon, which should also highlight some of Trisha's really well played Protoss skills. But this game, it's just not working. It's just not working for him. Great surround there coming out from Leebokgu on all those Reavers, Templars, Dragoons, and the Dragoons and Templars are going to go down, but the storms there might be not enough. I thought it was going to be enough, but no, the storms don't do the trick. There's more Reavers in the back. I'm going to drop there on the way. But first, clear out a couple of those air units there. Overlords are hanging on the sides. He tries to go in through the bottom side here of the base, and there's nothing here in between. Though, great entangle there. Stops it short in its tracks, and he enables himself to kill all shuttles before they arrive with their Templars to storm those drones in the back. The drones in the back, once again, staying alive in the front here, has been pushed through almost entirely. There's still a couple of Sunkens that are left in the front, but Guardians are now moving out for Leebokgu into the middle, although another rocket coming in from the top side, and this one is gonna get shut down as well. No, he lands it. Reaver there gets a shot off on the drones. The Scarab not exploding. The second Scarab also not exploding. And there's no Templar in there. And all the drones once again staying alive. Reavers are so damn unreliable. Reavers are so stupidly unreliable. You can never rely on those bastards to just do their job, because they will always miss with their Scarabs. They will always miss with their scarabs. So out moves Leebokgu into the middle with his guardians and Hydralisks, and I don't think Trisha has what it takes to defend against this, because as I mentioned before, I think I still don't see Singularity Charge on those Dragoons. Yes, he's finally upgrading Singularity Charge. He's got it upgrading now. Look at this, he's got it upgrading. He's got it. He's gonna get Singularity Charge, but I think it's already too late because look at all his Guardians moving out here for Leebokgu. They're definitely gonna mow over the entire frontal portion here on the middle and kill all of the production facilities that Trisha had built here on the middle. Goodbye Gateways, goodbye Reavers, goodbye Dragoons, goodbye Robos. I'm sure it's gonna happen because the Guardian count is simply too high. And he's got the Filers moving out into the middle as well. And he throws on a Plague on these buildings. Plagues on buildings are absolutely massive and absolutely underrated and underused. More plagues here coming down. Everything is just gonna burn to death quicker and quicker than you can blink. So yeah, Trisha has to be punching himself in the face for not getting Singularity Charge upgrade because he knows his chances of winning would have been significantly greater and higher and better if he simply had Singularity Charge. Because Singularity Charge means more range, which means less damage taken, because your Dragoons attack from further away, which always is better than attacking from pretty much melee distance. So yeah, very frustrating to watch. Because Trisha was trying the correct things, but Dragoon Singularity Charge upgrade is so important in your frontal attacks. It's so important in killing those Guardians. It's so important in fighting against Hydralisks, which do have their range upgrade finished. Because without the range upgrade, Dragoons have a shorter range than upgraded Hydralisks, as we saw. It's just everything went wrong, purely off of that fact. Also, the drops, of course, none of them hit target. None of the drops hit target, and this is what happens when the Zerg keeps their workers alive for the entire duration of the game and never loses their drones. But I do think, with Dragoon range, Trisha would have had more pressure here on the front and dealt a lot more damage to the front here, and possibly even broken through long ago, which would have made the game harder for Leebokgu, which also might have increased the chances of success of any of those drops hitting the minerals and the drones. You never know. But we can deduce one thing: for getting Singularity Charge is always bad. Bad. Very bad.